This week, I want to address a local situation that recently unfolded and impacted two of the businesses that have been vital to making the east end of Grand Haven a more thriving and welcoming part of our community. After the death of Charlie Kirk, one of the owners of Burzurk Brewery posted on social media a past comment of his. When asked about gun violence, Kirk had said, quote, "I think it's worth it to have the cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God given rights." She noted irony given that he himself died by gun violence. She also explained that she did not mourn him due to his racist and homophobic rhetoric, not to mention his unwavering defense of unfettered access to guns, regardless of the human toll. Her follow up post was even more direct. "We have moved past mere political disagreements," she said, into more fundamental moral differences. She described how Kirk's rhetoric made her feel unsafe in her own country, especially as the current policies allow racial profiling of the Latinx community. And she made it clear that she preferred her business reflect her values, and if Kirk's supporters didn't want to patronize her brewery, that was fine by her. In response, the far right unleashed a wave of vitriol. The threats and profanity hurled at her, often from people who claimed to follow Jesus, were shocking. A group of local Republicans even organized a protest of her business. Though hundreds of neighbors reached out in support, the owners closed the brewery that night at significant financial loss because they feared violence might break out. Her critics then boasted that they had shut her down and hung a Charlie Kirk shirt on her sign. Adding fuel to the fire, one person falsely claimed she had said she didn't want Christians at her brewery. And therein lies the rot. Many of Kirk's supporters conflate loyalty to him with Christianity itself. They assume that they alone are Christians, conveniently ignoring the many faithful believers who reject Kirk's ideology and who have always been welcome at the brewery. There are two things I need to say here. First, I'm embarrassed. Embarrassed that people claiming the name of Jesus can be so cruel. Embarrassed by the profanity, the threats, the attempts to silence those who disagree with them. To be clear, my criticism is not about the protests in and of themselves. That's a part of free speech. Rather, it is the irony in the right using their free speech to protest another person's free speech. And that the speech of those on the right leading up to these protests was so extreme that the business owners feared for the safety of their supporters and those involved. Second, I want to be clear, these extremists do not represent the fullness of Christianity. They don't even represent many of my conservative Christian colleagues and friends. But until ordinary Christians, especially conservatives and moderates, stand up and repudiate this kind of hatred, our witness is compromised. If you say you love freedom, but stay silent while your fellow believers harass small business owners and threaten neighbors, then your silence becomes complicity.